All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION this hour. Now, the American Secretary of State Antony Blinken is urging the state of Israel to maximize, quote-unquote, every possible means to get humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip. Speaking before his meeting with the Qatari Prime Minister, the top American diplomat, Antony Blinken, also added that the current situation in the besieged Palestinian enclave, where Palestinian children are starving to death, is unacceptable and is unsustainable. Now, Blinken's comments have come just days after scores of Palestinians were killed and injured when Israeli troops had opened fire near a besieged convoy of aid trucks in the Gaza city, resulting in more than 100 plus Palestinians getting killed while they were waiting to get some food. Even though Qatar has so far played a key role as the mediator in the efforts on hostage release and a ceasefire, Blinken has emphasized that the opportunity to achieve a ceasefire is on Hamas.
We have an opportunity for an immediate ceasefire that can bring hostages home, that can dramatically increase the amount of humanitarian assistance getting into Palestinians who so desperately need it, and can also set the conditions for an enduring resolution. And it is on Hamas to make decisions about whether it is prepared to engage in that ceasefire.
All right, so that is what the top American diplomat is saying, that it is on Hamas whether the ceasefire deal goes through. But remember, Hamas in its negotiations is asking for a permanent ceasefire, a cessation of this war. On the other hand, what is being offered by Israel, backed by the Americans at this moment, is more in the nature of a brief military pause for a period of 40 days. Famine looms large over the besieged Gaza Strip, as the aid supplies of food and medicine have now dwindled to barely a trickle in the course of the last month, especially in northern Gaza. There is said to be little to no aid that has reached northern Gaza in over a month. And Gaza's few functioning hospitals that are already overwhelmed by the wounded are now filling with children who are starving to their deaths. The United States and Jordan have resorted to using this technique of airdrops for assistance, which experts view as simply an inefficient and an ineffective way to distribute aid in comparison with land crossings. The U.S. Central Command in a statement has said that it has combined with the Royal Jordanian Armed Forces for a second airdrop on Tuesday and managed to airdrop 36,000 meals for a population of 2.3 million starving Palestinians. The negotiations at this moment are aimed at brokering a ceasefire in the Gaza war, but they appear to be stalled days before an unofficial deadline of the beginning of Ramadan. Now, 2 days of talks between Hamas and the international mediators broke up in the Egyptian capital Cairo without any significant breakthrough. And this after Israel declined to send even a delegation to the latest round of negotiations in Cairo. Egyptian and Qatari mediators over the course of the last 2 days have put more pressure on Hamas to try and produce a list of hostages to be released as the first step in a phased ceasefire agreement with Israel. Hamas has demanded large-scale humanitarian aid should be allowed into the Gaza Strip and that the Palestinians who have been displaced from their homes, driven out because of this war from the whole parts of Gaza Strip, must be allowed to return back to their homes. To which diplomatic sources in Washington have said that it is unclear as to what was stopping the Palestinian faction Hamas from producing a list identifying the first batch of hostages, noting that similar uncertainties had ended up collapsing the last successful truce in November after a week. Now, Israel's offensive has killed more than 30,000 Palestinians. It has displaced over 85% of the 2.3 million Palestinian population from their homes. And adding to that is Gaza's health ministry and the United Nations have stated that more than half of the Gaza Strip infrastructure has been reduced to rubble by Israel, backed with American weapons. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.